In a world where appearance often screams louder than substance, it's easy to get caught up in charm, beauty, and performance. But behind some sweet smiles and perfectly curated personas lies a truth most men don't see until it's too late. Not every woman who looks the part knows how to play it with honor. You see, value isn't about how she dresses, what she posts, or how good she makes you feel in the moment. True value is revealed in how she handles pressure, how she treats people when no one's watching, and what she does when she has nothing to gain. If you don't learn to recognize the signs, you'll waste years chasing connection with someone who's only skilled at wearing the mask. This isn't about bashing women, it's about protecting you, your mind, your peace, your destiny. So today we're exposing the quiet traits of the low-value woman, the ones that hide behind beauty and soft words. Because as a man walking in purpose, you can't afford to be distracted by someone who doesn't even value herself. Let's begin. There is a type of woman who never seems content unless the eyes of the world are on her. She is addicted to applause, to likes, to attention that validates her existence. Her identity is built on how others respond to her, how many comments she gets, how many men stare when she walks into a room, how often she is praised, adored, flattered. Without this external validation, she begins to fall apart. Her self-worth is tied not to who she is, but to what others see. She scrolls through social media endlessly, not out of boredom, but because it is her performance stage. Every post, every filter, every caption is a plea. See me, approve of me, make me feel worthy. And when the attention dries up, when no one notices, when no one compliments, when no one reaches out, she spirals. She becomes anxious, irritable, even angry. Because without external mirrors reflecting her beauty or her worth, she feels invisible. And to her, invisibility is worse than pain. This is not simply a matter of self-pregnation. It's an identity crisis in motion. A low-value woman is not just seeking attention, she needs it. Her entire emotional regulation system depends on others reaffirming her existence. You will see it in how she dresses, not to reflect her essence, but to provoke a reaction. You will hear it in how she speaks, calculated, performative, dripping with a desperate need to be admired. And if you pull away your attention, you will see her slowly unravel. Because she was never building a relationship with you, she was using you as a mirror. At first, it might seem intoxicating, her energy, her sparkle, her flirtation. She lights up the room, she seems irresistible. But what you'll come to realize is this: the more you give, the more she needs. There is no end. No amount of attention will fill the black hole that is her insecurity. No matter how much you affirm her, she will always crave more. Because she doesn't believe in her own worth, unless someone else stamps it with approval. That is a dangerous game to play. A woman who is constantly chasing attention is also constantly competing. She's not just trying to be seen, she's trying to outshine. She sees other women not as sisters, but as threats. Her self-worth is fragile, so she can't allow another woman to be prettier, smarter, more desired. That is when her mask cracks. The jealousy surfaces, the snide comments come out. Because underneath all the glamour is a war with herself, and that war gets projected onto everyone else. This kind of woman will enter your life like a spark, and if you are unaware, she will consume you like a flame. She will demand your focus, your energy, your constant reassurance. And at first, you may even feel honored. But the truth is, you're just another source, another light bulb she plugs into when her own battery runs low. You will notice that your presence alone is never enough. She'll push you to post her, praise her publicly, declare her worth loudly to the world, and if you don't, she'll question your love. Not because you're lacking in care, but because your validation isn't loud enough for her audience to hear. What she fears most is silence. Because silence means no applause. No one is clapping. And if no one is clapping, she begins to question her worth. This is why she lives in performance mode. Always needing a stage. Always needing a reaction. It's not about intimacy. It's about attention. Even in conflict, she doesn't want resolution. She wants drama. Because drama creates a scene, and a scene guarantees focus. This type of woman is never really present. Her mind is always elsewhere, thinking of the next thing to post, the next person to impress, the next opportunity to shine. You might be sharing a moment, but she's not really with you. Her spirit is chasing the crowd, and when the spotlight shifts to someone else, she feels abandoned, even if you're still standing beside her. To align yourself with someone like this is to slowly drain your energy. You will be turned into an accessory, useful only when you amplify her image. You will be caught in a cycle of giving more, showing up more, being more dramatic, just to maintain her interest. But the truth is, you are not a person to her. You are a mirror. And once your reflection no longer flatters her, she will seek a new one. A high-value woman, by contrast, is rooted. She doesn't need to be seen to know she is worthy. Her presence is quiet, powerful, and inwardly validated. She may receive attention, but she's not fueled by it. She doesn't perform, she lives. Her confidence doesn't scream, it speaks softly. She can sit in silence and feel full. She can walk away from the noise and feel secure. That is the kind of woman you build with. That is the kind of energy that sustains you, not drains you. You said, emotional discipline is one of the most powerful signs of inner strength. It doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means knowing how to process them, respond thoughtfully, and not let them rule your decisions or destroy your relationships. A woman who lacks this core skill becomes a slave to every emotion she feels, and when you encounter her, you'll notice one thing almost immediately. She reacts to everything. There is no in-between with her. Everything is either the best thing that's ever happened or the end of the world. She doesn't pause to understand what's really going on. She acts on impulse. Her emotions are not checked by reflection, maturity, or understanding. They lead her, drag her, and often ruin situations that could have been solved with calm. This is the kind of woman who will explode at a misunderstanding, cut people off without warning, and create drama where peace could have been preserved. You'll constantly feel like you're walking on eggshells around her, because you never know which version of her you're going to get. Her triggers are small, but her reactions are massive. A delayed text becomes a betrayal. A neutral tone becomes a personal attack. Any form of disagreement is interpreted as disrespect, and once she feels disrespected, even if it's based on a false assumption, she lashes out. She may yell, cry uncontrollably, give the silent treatment, or use manipulative tactics to make you feel guilty. All of it comes from a place of emotional immaturity. She doesn't know how to sit with discomfort, so she reacts in a way that spills her pain onto others. This kind of behavior doesn't just damage relationships, it erodes trust. Because the truth is, it's hard to build anything real with someone who can't control themselves emotionally. You can't plan for the future, solve problems together, or have difficult conversations with someone who turns every disagreement into a war. And over time, what started as passion turns into exhaustion. You find yourself dreading interactions because every minor issue becomes a full-blown crisis. This woman might say she's just being real, or just expressing how she feels, but the reality is, emotional expression without boundaries is chaos. Being in touch with your feelings doesn't give you the right to weaponize them. There's a difference between vulnerability and volatility. A woman who values herself knows how to channel her feelings constructively. She doesn't let them spill out in ways that hurt everyone around her. A woman lacking emotional discipline often plays the victim. Nothing is ever her fault. She blames everyone else for how she feels. If she's angry, it's because you made her. If she's sad, someone else caused it. She doesn't take responsibility for her emotional state, and because of that, she never learns. She never grows. She simply repeats the same destructive patterns in every relationship, then wonders why nothing works out. What's more dangerous is that this kind of woman may appear deeply passionate and expressive at first. Her emotions can be intoxicating, even magnetic. When she's happy, she lights up the room. When she loves you, it feels intense and all-consuming. But that intensity has a dark side. The same way she can love hard, she can hate even harder. The passion you once adored can flip into resentment, jealousy, or uncontrolled anger in a moment's notice. And the more deeply you invest in her, the more damage those emotional swings can do. Over time, being around her feels like being trapped in a storm. You never know when it's going to hit, and you have no way to stop it when it does. Her mood becomes the weather system of your relationship. And the more you try to soothe her, fix things, or make her feel better, the more you lose yourself in the process. Because emotional regulation is a personal responsibility. No one can do it for you. And if she refuses to learn it, no amount of love or patience on your part will be enough. A high-value woman, on the other hand, feels just as deeply, but she processes her emotions with wisdom. She doesn't lash out when she's hurt. She doesn't humiliate you when she's angry. She takes a moment to breathe, to understand what's truly happening before she speaks. She can disagree without degrading, express herself without exploding, and navigate conflict without collapsing. That kind of woman brings peace, not chaos, clarity, not confusion, strength, not instability. When a woman lacks emotional discipline, she doesn't just damage herself. She becomes a source of harm to those around her. And if you ignore the signs early on, you may end up entangled in an emotional roller coaster that derails your own peace, focus, and purpose. It's not about expecting perfection. It's about recognizing whether she has the willingness and capacity to grow. Because without emotional discipline, no amount of beauty, charm, or chemistry can create a stable, lasting connection. You said, there is a quiet power in true femininity, grace, softness, empathy, a nurturing presence that brings warmth and understanding. But not every woman uses this power to build, heal, or connect. Some women, particularly low-value ones, twist their femininity into a weapon. They know their allure. They understand how men respond to beauty, softness, vulnerability, and instead of using these traits to foster meaningful relationships, they use them as tools of control. Every glance, every smile, every tear becomes a calculated move in a silent power game. This kind of woman doesn't communicate openly. She seduces, manipulates, and plays on your protective instincts. She knows exactly when to play innocent, when to cry, when to pout, and when to withhold affection. Everything she does is strategic. Her femininity is not an expression of who she is. It's a mask she puts on to get what she wants. She's not interested in mutual connection. She's interested in domination without confrontation, power without responsibility. She's the kind of woman who will use her vulnerability as a shield. The moment she's held accountable, she breaks down into tears, shifts the blame, or turns the conversation into how badly she's being treated. Her goal is not resolution, it's control. By appearing helpless, she manipulates you into backing down. You'll find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do just to restore peace. But this peace is shallow. It's not the result of true understanding. It's the result of being emotionally manipulated. One of the most dangerous traits of a woman who weaponizes femininity is how easily she turns softness into seduction. She knows that many men are drawn to beauty, sensuality, and feminine energy. So she wraps herself in it, not to express love or care, but to gain leverage. She'll dress a certain way, speak a certain way, touch your arm at the right moment, not out of affection, but because she's trying to get something from you. Your attention, your money, your loyalty, your silence. And when she gets it, the warmth fades. You will start to notice that her interest always comes at a price. She'll be affectionate, but only when she needs a favor. She'll compliment you, but only to disarm you before a request. She'll initiate intimacy, but only to secure her position in your life. None of it feels rooted in authenticity. It's a performance, a rehearsed act to keep you under her influence. And if you pull back, question her, or refuse to be controlled, she doesn't seek connection. She punishes. Her punishments are subtle but effective. She She withholds affection. She creates emotional distance. She becomes cold, unresponsive, or passive-aggressive. She won't yell. She doesn't need to. She lets you feel the emotional vacuum and then silently implies that you caused it. That if only you had given her what she wanted, things would still feel warm, safe, intimate. This quiet withdrawal keeps you chasing. You begin to compromise, to accommodate, to surrender more of your boundaries, just to get back the version of her that felt so nurturing before. But that version was never real. It was bait. This kind of woman often presents herself as high maintenance, but it's not about standards, it's about entitlement. She expects royal treatment, constant gifts, attention, service, but gives very little in return. And if you question the imbalance, she doesn't respond with logic. She responds with guilt-tripping or seduction. She uses charm to silence confrontation. She uses intimacy to avoid accountability. Over time, your relationship becomes transactional, but with unclear rules. You're always giving, always proving, always trying to earn love that should have been freely offered. A woman who weaponizes her femininity is not looking for partnership. She's looking for control without effort. She wants the benefits of closeness without the responsibility. She wants you to protect her, provide for her, validate her. But she doesn't want to be questioned, challenged, or held to a standard. She hides behind her femininity like armor, knowing that many men will hesitate to call it out because she appears soft, because she looks delicate, because confronting her manipulation feels like attacking a butterfly. But butterflies don't cut you. This one does. What makes this even more destructive is that it poisons how you view real feminine energy. After being with a woman like this, you may start to mistrust softness, question emotional openness, or view all vulnerability as a trick. That's what low-value manipulation does. It distorts your perception of real connection. It creates confusion, makes you doubt your instincts, and ultimately pushes you to either overgive or emotionally shut down. A truly high-value woman doesn't need to manipulate. Her femininity is not performative, it's authentic. She doesn't cry to control, she communicates. She doesn't seduce to get her way, she reasons. She doesn't act helpless, she contributes. Her softness is strength, not strategy. Being with her doesn't feel like a game, it feels like coming home. She doesn't take your masculinity as a tool to exploit, but as a power to respect and complement. But the low-value woman who weaponizes her femininity doesn't build homes. She builds traps. Beautiful, inviting, and deadly to your peace. And the sooner you learn to see through the performance, the sooner you can protect your heart from becoming just another tool in her emotional toolbox. At first, she might seem incredibly agreeable. She says all the right things. She supports whatever you support. She shifts effortlessly to fit the people around her. On the surface, this looks like flexibility or a sweet nature. But beneath it lies a deeper problem. This woman has no internal compass. She's not rooted in any real principles, beliefs, or standards. She doesn't stand for anything unless it benefits her. She molds herself into whatever gets her the most attention, praise, or advantage. That's not adaptability. It's emptiness dressed in charm. A woman without core values will mirror whoever is in front of her. Around one group, she's traditional and modest. Around another, she's wild and uninhibited. With you, she'll play the role of the loyal partner, but watch closely. Her actions don't match her words. She says she values commitment, yet entertains inappropriate conversations online. She talks about honesty, but lies effortlessly to avoid discomfort or consequence. Her version of truth shifts depending on who's listening and what she wants from them. This lack of principle makes her unpredictable and dangerous, because without values, there is no loyalty, no integrity, no true identity. She is whoever she needs to be in the moment to gain the upper hand. And when the situation changes, she changes with it. If your success benefits her, she's devoted. But if someone else becomes more impressive, more useful, more visible, she'll subtly detach and reattach where the benefits are greater. This woman doesn't connect with people. She aligns herself with advantage. You'll see this in her friendships. They're shallow, often transactional. She doesn't have long-standing bonds based on character or trust. Instead, she surrounds herself with whoever is popular, influential, or beneficial at the time. Once someone no longer serves her image or needs, they're replaced. This is not evolution, it's exploitation disguised as growth. And it stems from her being emotionally unanchored. Without real beliefs, she only seeks belonging through validation. She becomes what she thinks others want, not what's true to her core, because her core is undeveloped or ignored. She might even use language that sounds wise or spiritual, quoting books, talking about healing, growth, or boundaries. But when tested, she doesn't live by those words. They're just phrases she picked up because they make her sound enlightened. And that's the thing. She doesn't want to be good. She wants to look good. Values are not about appearances. They are about consistency. A high-value woman lives by principles, even when no one is watching. A low-value woman performs those principles only when there's an audience. Her lack of authenticity creates constant confusion. One day, she's fully invested in you. The next, she's cold, detached, and emotionally unavailable. She blames stress, the world, or your behavior. But the truth is simpler. She's reacting to a shift in what's popular or rewarding. If being the good girlfriend no longer gets her the attention it used to, she'll pivot into something else. Maybe the independent woman, maybe the free spirit, maybe the misunderstood soul. But in each version, she's just trying to stay liked, relevant, and desired, not true, not stable, just seen. This behavior is rooted in insecurity. Deep down, she doesn't believe that who she is enough. So she hides behind ever-changing masks, hoping no one looks closely enough to realize how hollow it is inside. And for a while, people don't. Because she's skilled at giving you just enough to make you believe. A convincing story, a well-timed vulnerability, a moment of passion. But consistency reveals character. Over time, you'll realize there's no real foundation beneath her charm, just reactions and rehearsed roles. And the cost of being with this kind of woman is heavy. You'll constantly question what's real. Her words won't match her actions. Her promises will evaporate when they no longer benefit her. You'll feel like you're building on sand. No matter how much you invest, how much you try to anchor the relationship with purpose or direction, it will always slip through your fingers. Because she's not anchored herself. She's not building a life, she's chasing a spotlight. Contrast that with a woman who knows who she is, a woman of values. She is consistent even when it's inconvenient. She doesn't switch masks depending on who's in the room. Her loyalty isn't for sale, and her opinions aren't shaped by popularity polls. She may not be loud, but she's firm. You can trust her word. You can see her integrity over time. That's what makes her valuable, not just in relationships, but in every area of life. But a woman with no core values cannot offer stability, commitment, or truth. She may offer excitement, flattery, and illusion, but illusions always break. And when they do, you're left wondering who she ever really was. The answer? Whoever she needed to be in that moment. Nothing more, nothing lasting, nothing real. You said, so here's the truth you must face with unwavering clarity. Not every woman is worth your time, your energy, or your heart. Some women are not broken. They are simply unwilling to grow. And no amount of love, patience, or sacrifice can change that. A low-value woman will drain your purpose, distract your focus, and distort your sense of self if you let her. She'll dress chaos in charm and call it connection. But you must choose differently. Protect your peace. Value your spirit. Align with women who are grounded in truth, not trends. Women who embody grace, strength, and self-awareness. Women who don't need to manipulate, perform, or chase validation because they know their worth. Stoicism teaches us to observe, not just react, to stand firm in our values, to detach from what does not serve our highest good. So be bold enough to walk away from the performance and wise enough to wait for the real. You deserve alignment, not illusion. Protect your spirit and let your standards speak for you.